we need to take. So before I start, sharing my slide with you, so I've just go through some study, and which I say, okay, let me also share the experience with you. So I say, let me share the experience with you. So this evening, I'm going to be talking about 10 steps on how to stop procrastination. So we all know what procrastination means. And for some of us who have dictionary, before we go to the next slide, you can search your phone or go through the Google and type what exactly is procrastination. I believe this is an, can I say, habit or symptom sometimes in us that we need to see a way. We need to look for a way of, put it aside. If truly such thing in our character, we need to put it away. For anybody who wanted to achieve or who wanted to learn, you must try to put what we call procrastination away, either being man or woman. So let me start by sharing my slide with you people. So what is procrastination? As I've told you people before, that you can go online to make a research by yourself, or through your, if you have dictionary there with you, you can also go through your dictionary and make some research online. So these are the few things, that I just jot down. That what is procrastination? Number one, the action of delaying or postpone something. That is when you're supposed to take a step and nothing is delaying you, but you just decided that, no, I'm going to, postpone it and, leave it for some times to come. As the white people normally say, that delay is very dangerous. Before, I was also having this, this kind of symptom in me. I attended a course and I read a lot of books. Then I found out that, it is something, that is not helpful as a human being, either in business or maybe sometime in study or whatsoever. So number one, the action of delaying or postpone something. Then the number two is to be slow or late about doing something that should be done. That is something that you're supposed to do in time, and you are not doing it. Then you delay it. You slow a action that's supposed to be taken immediately. Then when you slow about it, and things that that's supposed to put in place, and we didn't. So it's also called procrastination. Then number three, procrastination is a person who delay or put things off, like work, other action that should be done in time manner. Sometimes, even though as a student, we have this type of symptom in us, that whenever the exam is coming, maybe our exam remain maybe almost about 3 weeks, we don't read before that time. Sometimes we delay it. Maybe our exam remain 2 or 3 days, then before, there is a limit that our brain can carry. That is one thing. We should also understand that human memory has a limit, capacity. But when we take things, gradually, not rushing things, when we take things gradually, it helps us to memorize some certain things. But when we rush things, most of those things that we rush, we may not remember them again. But when we go through it, step by steps, it really, help us. Then procrastination can be a challenging habit to break, but with some strategy and consistent efforts, you can overcome it. Here are some tips to help you stop procrastination. It's an habit, just as I've said before, that sometimes it is part of us as a human being. You see, it is part of us as a human being. And such habits, sometimes is not helping us, to move forward. And people may say, either, spirits of delay or whatsoever we call it, or anyhow, either being spiritual or physical. I believe that there is no any problem that someone cannot solve. There is no any problem someone cannot solve, but except you determine by yourself, to stop the problem. So I'm going to be giving you, some steps in which I've gone through, and that really, helped me, to put things in order. Whenever, time comes for me to take any action, I just have to do it. I don't need to wait. Either being in the business or whatsoever, or something that, related, concerning my well-being. So I just have to take that action. That is immediately. So I'm going to be guiding you through some steps. Then step number one is for you to set a clear goal. Clearly identify what you want to achieve and break it down into smaller, manageable tasks. Having a clear sense of purpose and direction can motivate you to get started. Most of the challenges sometimes that we face when we have a huge task, maybe we have a big task before us. So what we'll be thinking is that, how am I going to finish this task? So sometimes it becomes an overwhelming. It becomes an overwhelming in our life. So that is why you find out, fixing such tasks, sometimes is very big, challenging for us. But we can break it down, until we achieve those tasks. So number one is that you must set a clear, goal, a clear definition. set a clear goal and a clear definition what you want to achieve. You know, when you go through the life of those who have really, played a successful role in our society, when you ask them, when you come closer to them, they will tell you their own story. That, number one thing that they will tell you, and anywhere I go, when I meet a group of people, I normally ask the same question: do you have any goal that you want to achieve? Because we're in the world of achieving goal. Most of the people that we have read their story either through social media or through any media means. When you listen to them, the first thing they are going to tell you is that they have a very clear vision. And we as a human being, we must have a very clear vision, exactly what we want to achieve, and go for it. One of the man of God, said, I think Pastor Paul in nature, he said a blank mind is going to lead to a blank life. You know what I mean by blank? That is a life that is blank, nothing there. So, a blank mind is going to lead to a blank life, and that is it. For example, if you enter a house without anything there, so what do you? Nothing. But except something in place in that particular house, either chair or table, then before you can see anything. But if nothing is there, so it becomes empty. No matter what the situation, or maybe what we are now, we should always remember that a step, to succeed or to move forward in life is not those one that is easy. So that is number one. Let us set, a clear goal, what we want to achieve in life. Then number two, we must prioritize tasks, determine which tasks are the most important and tackle them first. Prioritizing helps you focus on what truly matters and reduce likelihood of putting off important responsibility. So, what is our priority? That is one thing we need to have in mind. But as a human being, we need to have our own priority. You see, there are many things before us as a human being. We always have different choices. Like, I want to have this, I want to have that, I want to do this. But the question is that, are those things necessary? That's the first question we need to answer. So when we place too many options, in our front, we may not get to conclusion. We may not get to conclusion. There is an adage in my language. They say you can use one stone to kill two birds. I don't think that is possible. It's just an illustration. When they say you can use one stone to kill two birds, it's an illustration. If you are targeting a bird, one bird, use one stone. Because how can you stone one bird? Maybe, for example, if you target, you get it, then what happened to the next bird? So it's an illustration. The elder use it as an adage. So what is the first priority? When we put those options down, we should look at all those options, the one that is most important. Not that other options, they are not important, they are important, but at least we should focus on those one that is very important. So it helps us, also to beat procrastination. Then number 3, we need to create a schedule, to-do list. Organize your tasks by creating a daily or weekly schedule, or by using a to-do list. Break it down, your first task, into smaller actionable step, and allocate specific time slot for each task, having a visual presentation or responsibility can help you study and organize and motivate it. So we should also have in mind that time is very much important. When you are planning for something, you should also understand that time schedule is very much important. One of the greatest challenge that we have in Africa is time. And sometimes that is why I respect the Europeans. Once they give you 8, that is 8 o'clock. But we always say, African time, there is no African time. Time is time. We should know that time is time, no any African time at all. So, putting our tasks in the appropriate time, organizing those things, it's really help us. For example, if I take, my, what they call my mobile phone, I have different alarm sets there that reminds me, different program that I have to do. All those things are in our fingertip. We don't need any, what they call it, personal assistant to do that for us, because we are not minister or governor. Those are the ones who need personal assistant to remind them that, oh, so time. But our mobile is there. When you go to your clock, you can set whatever time you wanted to set, and it's going to remind you, by just typing exactly what you want to do that particular time. So it's going to remind you. So creating a schedule, to-do list, organize your tasks, and create a daily or weekly schedule is very much important in our lives, as a human being. And this also helps us, to fulfill, our tasks. So it's also helps us to beat procrastination. Let me move to the next slide. So step number 4, use a time management technique. Experiment with a different time management technique, Google app, calendar, or whatsoever. Just as I've said before, all those things are just in our fingertip, or even though in your laptop is something that you can also do, to manage your time. See, or there are different apps, even though you can download from Google Store, that we can use in time management, in schedule, in fulfill some tasks. I have a friend of mine that tells me that, every weekend from so time to this time, he doesn't do any other thing apart from studying, apart from, readings. So time, because that was the day I was calling. I was saying, you can't get me. I have to I always put my mobile off. I don't want any distraction from so time like this. If you call me, you can't get me. You understand? So apart from that day, any other day, you can get me online. So time management is also important. in beating procrastination. Then number 5, eliminate distraction. Identify and minimize distraction in your environment. Create a dedicated workspace that is free from distraction. See, we have to eliminate distraction. Maybe, for example, maybe you want to read and you have your TV in your front. That is number 1 distraction, because you cannot read and at the same time watching movie, or you're busy with one task. Then you have other things by your side. You can't be in the midst of 2 things. You just have to focus on one. So, as we are, as a human being, we need to identify our side of distraction. Every human being has this, even though including me. But how to eliminate all those things? So we need to identify them first. Oh, this is the area I am weak. This is the area I'm not doing good. So what we need to do is to identify them first, the distraction, most especially in our environment, and we should try to create a dedicated workspace. Then number 6, we have to practice self-discipline. That is, we need to practice a self-discipline, recognize that overcoming procrastination requires a discipline and self-control. Hold yourself accountable for your action and commit to completing tasks on time. So, no matter what we want to achieve, if there is no self-discipline, believe you me, we can't achieve it at all. If there is no self-discipline, we cannot achieve it. So that is one thing we also need to focus. Self-discipline. Without self-discipline, I tell you the truth, is very, 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 very difficult for us. You go to so many offices, you go to so many institutions. When there is no discipline, there is nothing can be achieved there. Because when we talk about discipline, it comprises everything that has to do with human life, either our work, either our time, or whatsoever. So when we have this, when we practice this, self-discipline, it really helps us, also to beat procrastination. That is number 6. Then, when we go to the next slide, which is 7, progress and completion is more important. Accept that, accept that mistake and imperfection, accept mistake and imperfection are a natural part of learning process. That is another step. We need to accept that, mistakes and imperfection is a process of learning. Nobody is perfect. And that's just the truth. Nobody is perfect. So we need to accept all those things. So it's a part of learning process. Imperfection, then at the same time, mistakes also. So if anyone tells you, oh, I don't do mistake, it's a big lie. It's part of our life. But the only thing, once we accept our mistakes, we're in progress. once we accept our mistake, we are in progress. But once we don't accept that, it makes us, to be stagnant in a particular place. So, and if someone is stagnant in a particular place, which means you are not moving forward, because from our mistake, from our imperfection, we learn from all those things. We learn from all those things. In fact, failure, as people normally say, is also part of success. When you see all those people who have climbed the ladder of success, and if any one of them is not telling you their failure, which means they are telling you lies. They are telling you lies. So failure is part of it. Mistake is part of it. Imperfection also is also part of it. But how do we deal with all those things? It's by accepting them and moving forward. I was telling somebody that today, when you made mention of one of the greatest president in the history of the world, today you'll be talking about Abraham Lincoln, which is one of the American presidents. But he's so popular today, and they say that he's one of the most, powerful, successful American, the presidents America ever produced. But nobody talks about his failure. Nobody talks about it. They always talk about his success. He contested almost 6 times. He lost before he became American president. See, in one of his speeches, he said he learned from his mistake and also in imperfection. And that is just the truth. So we should open to correction whenever people correct us or whenever people try to advise us. We need to open to all those things. So this is another step to beat procrastination in our life, delaying things, don't want to do things, I don't want to do that. Then number 8, see, you need to break the task into smaller steps. Sometimes the sheer size of complexity of a task can be overwhelming, and learn to procrastination, break down a large task into smaller and more management steps. Complete each step will give you a sense of progress and momentum. So when we have a big task before us, it is also necessary that we break all those things down into smaller pieces. Then we begin to deal with each one of them, step by step, as they say that a journey of 1,000 miles, begin at a step. A journey of 1,000 miles, begin at a step. So you don't do, so many things at once. Just try, break them down. Even though if the whole thing is big as mountain, people climb on top of mountain. Not in 1 minute, maybe some hour, even do some days. So it's step by step, gradually. So sometimes what we face really overwhelms us. See, but when we break them down into pieces, it also helps us to, stop procrastination. Then, number 9, find motivation, reward, motivation for completing a task. Focus on the benefit of focus on the benefit or reward that comes from completing the task, accomplishment, or personal growth. Use this motivation as a source of inspiration. So what we should use as our source of inspiration is that the task that we have completed, let that task be a source of motivation for us by saying that, oh, am I the one that finished this thing? Oh, it gives us joy. So for me also, any task that I complete, not delaying the task, it gives me joy. So we should draw our source of inspiration from the tasks that we have completed. So it makes us to grow. It makes you and I to grow by completing those tasks, looking towards another task. So those are the places that we should draw because the more you complete tasks that are before you, the more you become more happy and have more energy, you understand me, to do another task. So our source of inspiration or our motivation should come from the tasks that we have already achieved. Then number 10, Number 10, then practice self-care. Take care of your physical and mental well-being. Get enough sleep, eat and balanced diet, exercise regularly, and manage stress level. When you feel physical or mentally healthy, you will have more energy and focus to tackle your tasks. So, it's one of those things that that are physical, also, and our mental is also important. That all those things, we have to manage them, because when we don't manage them, sometimes we overwhelm. If we overwhelm by any of these things, so sometimes it makes us to weak and seeing things as big in our front. So one of those things is that our physical and our mental also should be managed. We need to sleep very well. Sleeping very well doesn't mean that we should sleep the whole day. No. That doesn't mean that we should sleep the whole day. At least we should have rest. For example, maybe I'm preparing to go out the next morning. I'm still watching movie till 1, till 2, or till 3 o'clock at night. And by the time we get to work, we are tired and all those things. So all those things, we should try and manage it. Our physical, body, mental, all these need to be balanced. Even though the food that we consume with our mouths, we need to be eat balanced diets if we want good health. See, and one day I'm also planning to do, a stuff on that, on how to eat, balanced diets. A lot of people talk, they thought in their mind, maybe by putting 2 kilo of rice or 1 kilo of banku, that is balanced diets. No, those are not balanced diets. Even though if it is little that you eat, it's okay with your body. Once we mean by balance, there are a variety of food and fruits that include in all those things. So that is number 10 step. So these are the from 1 to 10, those are the steps that we need to take for any one of us to beat procrastination. I tell you, before I can be able to talk on this, I was also having the same challenges before. Also, that I normally delay things. And sometimes when I delay all those things, by the time I say, okay, let me go for this, you find out that sometimes I may not even meet up. And maybe such thing is very much, important to me. Sometimes I loses them. It pains. I lose them. So these are the steps that I need to go through for me to beat. For me to stop procrastination. So remember, breaking the habits of procrastination take time and effort. Be patient with yourself and stay. Be patient with yourself and stay persistent. Celebrate your success along the way and don't get discouraged by occasionally setback. Don't get discouraged. Changing habits, changing things is not easy sometimes the way we think, but it's something continuous. Anything that you want to change, you have to continue. It won't change overnight. You need to, put, a lot of efforts, by practicing and all those things. And sometimes there are some setback also. We shouldn't take, oh no, that's the end of everything. So setback also is part of our, is part of our life. Sometimes, discouraged and whatsoever, what we are expecting, we may not get it at that particular time. So that doesn't mean that, things go worst. But the more we, try to put things, the more we try to focus, the more we try to schedule our time, the more we take all these steps, we find out that, things is going to be easy for us. So those are the steps that, we need to take. As the white men have said, that delay is dangerous. Whenever we see, an opportunity, let's take hold of it. Let's take hold of it. Most of the, program you see me using online for all this program, sometimes I pay for them, and sometimes they have what they call pay and use forever. Maybe if the company launch it for the first time, they will be looking for people who is going to pay for the first time, and you are going to use it forever. They'll say, okay, don't worry. Some people say, okay, no, I will do it later. So once I see that opportunity, I just grab it, and I'm using them forever. And that does it. So there are people also who also need the same program. They are paying monthly today. They are paying monthly every month. But when the company first started, when they say pay one time and use it forever, people take it them for granted. But when I see such opportunity, I don't play with it, because opportunity come but once. There are some opportunity, once they come, we may never get them back again. And as someone said, that a stone that's been thrown away, to recover it is very difficult. So let us try, be more focused. We shouldn't wait until opportunities slip out of our hands. We need to, understand exactly what we want. Because for someone who don't really understand what you want, how can you achieve? So that is number one step. We must set a clear goal. Oh, this is what I want to achieve. Then you begin to pursue it. You begin to pursue it. I was sharing my story with when I was in Catholic Church, I think on last right? I say, whatever you see me today, the journey begins 17 years ago, and I'm still on it. I'm learning. I know what I want to achieve, and I haven't achieved them all. In my journey, setback is there, procrastination is there. I don't too much pay attention to things, but I begin to look, this have, give me some setback. So how can I beat all these things? So I have to attend a course. The title of that course, How to Beat Procrastination. And it really helps me. And since I begin to get things right, I don't wait for any opportunity to slip out of my hand, or any action that need to be taken at that moment. I don't wait for it. I just need to take the action. So now it is question time. I don't know if any one of you have questions. You can try to unmute yourself and just ask me the question you wanted to ask me. So try to unmute yourself. Is there anyone with question?
No, sir.
You said what?
I said no.
Okay. You said no. Maybe other people may have questions.
Yeah,
They didn't ask.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Sister Charity, are you there? Sister Folong Shaw Blessing or Sister Olabisi? Is there any question? Don't feel so shy in asking questions. We are all learners. We are all learners. We learn every day of our life. So don't feel shy of asking any question. So if there is no any question, I think maybe you get me clear. So it's a step, forward that, in life that we need to take a step. If truly we want to achieve anything, we really need to take a step. And just as I have said before, that sometimes we may translate it as a spirit of delay or whatsoever, setback or whatsoever. Well, it may be, but either being physical or spiritually, I believe that there is nothing we as a human being, there is nothing we cannot achieve. So that word, I wish I should have done this, is because of procrastination, postponing, delaying. Somebody was telling me, I was talking to a friend. And so he said, do you know that God don't want me to build a house? I say, how? I say, how did God don't want you to build a house? He said, do you know that when they were selling, I saw one land, just a land, the plot of land. They asked me that time to pay 50,000 naira. And I was even having almost a money, that was that time, I was having a money close to 250,000. See, I just say, what am I going to do with this? And today, if you want to buy land, okay, why can't you buy it that time? I told you, why can't you buy it that time? See, the more you delay things, the more you don't take action. Now, even though with 250, what can you do? except you want to mood block. I don't even think that one also can mood block. So that time, assuming you just go for it, by now, and even though if you want to sell it back, you will have your money times 2, or even though 3 or 4 like that. So those are the things that we as a people, we need to take care of all those things. Sometimes we pray. Prayer is good, but as a woman being, we need to take care of those things. So before I finally close again, so if there is any question, so let me.
I have a question.
Who is that?
His favor.
Okay, you can speak.
Okay. I want to ask this question. To be focused in life, or maybe you have an expectation, you have a plan for life that you are up to. But at least in this life, we need somebody that can help. Somebody cannot just become whatever that she or he wants to become if somebody does not help or to have a helper.
Okay.
So can somebody become something in life without helper?
Without an helper.
When you have focus and you know what you want, if you didn't get somebody to help or to help her that will help the person, can the person meet up in life?
Definitely, I think you can meet up. You can meet up in life. You understand? There is what people normally say that being for example, they normally say a proverb in my language, say being born of one family, that doesn't mean that maybe your brother or your sister can do anything for you except the one God assigned to you. It's in 2 ways when you look at it, that sometimes, when we look to some certain people for them to help us, that is we human beings. That is what we always look out to sometimes. Okay, I want this person to help me. But if help is not coming from such people, or if you didn't, if no one have rendered any help to you. See, we human beings, as a human being, God has given us a lot of capacities. But sometimes it is because we limit ourselves that, until I see that man or until I see that person. People do it, maybe somebody will help them, but not everybody. But you, as a woman being, there is, a kind of potential in you that when you begin to do things, you understand me? You can do a lot of things by yourself. I tell you, here in this land where I am, apart from just normal friends, who do I look up to? I don't look up to anybody, although there are friends, so many people there. It is the self-encouragement that I give to myself. Self-encouragement I normally give to myself. So if I see somebody who made it, why not me? I can do it. So when we have such courage between us, that if somebody achieves something like this, so why can't I achieve? So if I look by the other side, and if no help is coming, that doesn't mean that is all. But self-determination, focusing as a woman being, it's required for every woman being in life. So that does it. Are you clear with the question? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes, any other question? Okay, if there is no any other question, I'm going to end this Zoom now. So till Saturday, when we come back to our normal computer class, so I just thought that I should just take this lesson for today. Today is holiday in Nigeria, and you all know that we have new presidents, even though it is not the wish of people, but let's see what God can do. Let's continue to pray for our nation that one day God will, pull us out in the hands of our slave master. God did it for the people of Israel. So let's continue to pray. And let's pray for our new president also. If it is the will of God, we don't know, but let's consider to pray for our nation, Nigeria, so that it can be a better place and for us, because no matter how we are in this country, one day we will decide to go back home. So let's continue to pray for our leader. So goodbye. See you see you on Saturday. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you, sir.
Bye-bye.